What's going on, everybody? Tom Coffey here, doing a guest video for Steel Grinder PT, offering tips on how to pass Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, also known as Rasp. So just to back up and give you guys the quick backstory on how myself and Coach Brad McLeod crossed paths. I worked for Brad in 2012 at his CrossFit gym, moved to Atlanta to work for him. He helped me train up for the SEAL Fit Kokoro camp, and I was able to successfully complete that in October of 2012. But through just meeting Brad, being around the type of people that Brad attracted to his gym, a lot of law enforcement, a lot of military, ex-military, I had met some guys there who were former Army Rangers. At the time, I didn't know too much about a Ranger. I kind of heard whispers of it. So I started to look into it, right? And you know, the job of a Ranger sounded really awesome, sounded exactly like what I was trying to do. Originally thought I wanted to go out and become a SEAL. Turns out I missed the S in SEAL. I'm not such an awesome swimmer. So, you know, land-based all the way for me, land or air. But anyway, so Brad helped me he made the connection to the military guys. And from there, I was starting to, signed a contract with the Army. He was going out, had the option 40 in my contract to go to Rasp, but I didn't exactly know like what to do to train for it. So, you know, and I was basically, anybody who was like, hey, I've been in the military, I've been in the Army, or even guys who were like, hey, I was a Ranger. I just wanted to pick their brain, to sit down with them for hours and just be like, tell me everything that I need to know. And really, I just wanted to hear their story. I was very fascinated. It was a world I didn't know what I was really getting into. And it was really interesting. It was really intriguing to me. But in my search, I came across a book called Sua Sponte by Dick Couch, kind of describing the selection process that is known as RASP, the 8-week kind of trial that you would go through. But I couldn't really find anything that was like geared toward Ranger selection training, right? Which is fine. So I went to basic training, went through airborne school, went through RASP, and spent some time in 75th Ranger Regiment up in Washington State with 2nd Ranger Battalion. And so now that I'm I'm out of the military and back working for Coach Brad, this is the book. I wrote a book called So You Want to Be a Ranger, and it's basically the training guide I wish existed when I was looking into the military. Not in terms of, training, but also just answering questions, right? Answering questions about basic training or just military life in general. This is the book that I would have paid big bucks for in 2012, 2013 to have my hands on had it existed at the time. So I think it's really designed to help guys that are aspiring to go out to RASP have a better chance of succeeding and passing, right? So I'll get into some of these tips here in just a second. But just know RASP is tough. It's definitely passable. I'm not a good athlete at all, and I was able to make it through. But it's tough, right? So you have to know that going into it. It's not easy. They don't want you there. They want you to leave the cadre, and it's part of the weeding out process, which is necessary. But just go in knowing that it's very tough. So to prepare for RASP, right, there's some things that I would recommend you do that will set you up for success, and some things that I recommend maybe you don't do as much of or not at all, that are maybe just gonna take up your time and not really help you out. So I'm gonna touch on those right now. So from a training perspective, things that you should definitely do to train for, Army life in general, especially if you're going as an 11 Bravo or 11 X-ray infantry. But for Army life in general, you definitely want to run. You're going to run everywhere. So even if you're not a strong runner, which is my case, I'm not a great runner at all, long distance. You need to get your legs ready. You need to get your hips, your knees, your shins, right? Even your feet. You need to get them conditioned to be running a lot of miles every week. And that's going to be very true in RASP. So in RASP, right, there's some graded tests that you have to pass, performance measures, right? 12-mile run, PT test, 5-mile or 12-mile ruck, PT test, 5-mile run, and some miscellaneous other events. But for our 5-mile run, you have to do it in under 40 minutes. But we would run down to we would run a mile or a mile and a half down to the starting line for the 5-mile run, and then afterwards we would run uphill all the way back and buddy carry like after the 5. So we were running, just to go to the 5-mile run, we were running 8 to 9 miles just to do that one 5-mile run, right? So it starts to add up. Is what I'm getting at. So definitely run. Definitely spend some time under a rucksack, right? That's really important. Guys, that you'll spend time under a rucksack in basic training for sure, but if you can condition your shoulders, your back, your hips, your mind, right, to carry heavy weight and just get used to it before you go to basic training, it's gonna be that much easier for you to spend endless hours carrying a rucksack at Rasp, which you'll do a lot. So I would recommend at least, once or twice a week before you ship out to basic training, you should be rucking, right? Maybe, and you can combine different elements of rucking. Some days maybe just throw like 30, 40 pounds in a pack and just go for hours, right? Long ruck, you don't have to worry too much about the weight. Other days maybe pare it down and go like 3-4 miles, but load the weight up 60, 70, 80 pounds, right? So get used to moving for long distances with weight, and also get used to moving short distances with really heavy weight. That would be like carrying a rucksack plus water jugs, or carrying a rucksack and buddy carrying your friend, or stuff like that, which you'll definitely be doing. So just getting used to both of those will just make you more durable, and that's really sort of the underlying theme, is being durable so you don't get hurt or your mind doesn't crack, right? Other things that you should be doing to prep for Rasp, good tips. Definitely be good at push-ups, definitely be good at pull-ups, definitely be good at sit-ups. So it's interesting to me though, because guys know that there's a PT test. It's gonna be 2 minutes of push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups, and max effort pull-ups, but you have to get a minimum number. They say 6, really it's like 10 plus. You don't want to be the guy doing 6, because if you can only do 6 pull-ups when you're fresh, you're in trouble. Because the cadre will kind of mess with your head. You think you're just gonna jump up on the bar and rip out pull-ups at your own tempo. They make you rip out pull-ups at their tempo. Say up, down, up, right? So you know what I mean? So if you're not used to hanging on the bar for extra time, if your grip sucks, if you can only do 6 pull-ups fresh, you're gonna be in danger of failing the pull-ups and ultimately failing Rasp. So make sure if you're showing up to Rasp, you can do at least 10. 10's even low in my opinion. Like 15 minimum. You want to be able to be dead hang, right, all the way. So chin over the bar, hold for a second, all the way locked out, right? Chin ups even, be good at both. But yeah, you want to be upwards like 15 plus. That'll be pretty safe, because you're never doing this stuff fresh. Also, you want to be good at push-ups, so doing a lot of push-up drills, various push-up drills. One drill that I found worked really well to help build up my push-up numbers was I would add like 10 push-ups to this number every week, but I started at 40. I would do a set of 40 as fast as I could, not worrying about form or anything. The idea to kind of really pre-fatigue my chest, and then I would rest 1 minute, and then do 50 perfect push-ups is in whatever time it took. And that was really to train my mind to grind and be used to doing push-ups when I was tired, because chances are some of them that you do aren't gonna count on the PT test. So to meet the standard, you might actually be doing 15, 20, 25 extra push-ups just to reach the minimum number. And that was kind of a shock for some guys. So make sure you definitely train push-ups. Sit-ups as well, you can do the same thing. Do some 1 or 2 sets to pre-fatigue, and then do that second or third set and actually count that and make sure every rep is perfect while you're tired, right? So just getting used to doing things while you're tired, while you're fatigued, while you're kind of under mental stress from having a high heart rate, all that stuff, because your Rasp is really a grind, right? It's really a long endurance event. And you have to be durable. You have to make sure your mind's not going to crack, and I'm going to touch on that in a second. But just to recap, the big things you should definitely be doing: spending time under a ruck, both for long distances and a really long time. You don't have to go so heavy on the weight there. and then short distances and go real heavy on the weight, like 70, 80 pounds. You know, you could even do a rucksack plus carry a sandbag or something like that, but like 3-4 miles. Make sure that you're used to running, you know, 15, 20 miles per week. Make sure that you can run a 5-mile run in under 40 minutes. So for the PT test, you're gonna do 2 minutes of push-ups, take a little rest while the rest of the, you know, everyone else cycles through their push-ups, 2 minutes of sit-ups. Again, you have a little rest while everyone else, the rest of the class finishes up, and then you're going right into the 5-mile run. So it would behoove you to do these events in their order, right? 2 minutes of max push-ups, take a little rest, like 2 to 5 minutes. 2 minutes of max sit-ups, take a little rest, and then go right into the 5-mile run, because you'll be surprised that if you can run 5 miles in under 40 minutes, like out the door, that's awesome. But can you do it when your hip flexors are kind of smoked from doing a bunch of sit-ups, you know, a few minutes prior? And then can you come back in off the 5-mile run, take like a 2 to 5 minute rest, and then jump up and do the, you know, the best set of pull-ups that you can do to the cadre standard. So while you're already like smoked, your heart rate's jacked, maybe it's cold and your fingers are numb. But what I'm saying is it will behoove you to practice the events in the order that they're done, right? And you'll get more repetitions and iterations with this in basic training and airborne, but just keep that in mind. You'll never be super fresh for any test that you do. I can't say that enough. So I recommend training when you're not fresh. Other things that you can do aside from the sort of those, you know, the rucking, the running, and the calisthenics, get used to using a sandbag, a log, an odd object like a rock, you know, but I caution against spending too much time in the gym because you're only gonna touch a barbell, and it's not even a barbell, it's a trap bar once, and that's during basically the assessment that you do as sort of like the overall physical assessment called the RAW assessment, Ranger Athlete Warrior. It's really just data points to see, did you improve, like what was your strength going in, but you're not gonna be in the gym, at least my experience was, you're not gonna be in the gym, you're not gonna be touching a barbell, you're not gonna be touching dumbbells. Can those help? Sure, they can definitely supplement, they can help you build strength, but what you're going for really, I think, is durability, endurance strength, and strength endurance, right? So you'll be moving water jugs, right? 5-gallon water jugs. You'll be carrying a ruck, you'll be carrying your buddy, you'll be dragging skedcos, you'll be carrying litters, you'll be climbing ropes, you'll be moving sandbags, you'll be picking up odd objects the cadre find on the ground and make you pick up, mostly rocks or logs. So what I'm saying is the nature of RAS is very dynamic, and it's not like a perfect environment as the gym would be, where everything's evenly weighted, it's clean, it's air conditioning, right? There's not any of that. So for one, you'll train your body better if you get used to being outside the gym, being in the elements, doing stuff that caused you to kind of wobble, and it'll just help you build durability, right? Build core strength, build shoulder strength, build the wrist strength. It'll also help your mind stay sharp. So if you listen to music, I would suggest maybe training without music, right? Basically, take away all the luxuries you have from training: air conditioning, clean gym, evenly distributed weight, music, right? All that stuff, because you're not gonna have it. And if you rely on those luxuries to get you through your workout, I think that's a big and often overlooked detriment that people use, right? So get used to just being in your own head, talking yourself through tough sticking points, you know, making sure that when your heart rate's jacked through the roof, and it has been for 2 hours, that you're like the mental chatter inside your head is still like, yeah, you got this, man. Just take one step forward. Just take one step forward. Instead of being like, oh, I wish I had my iPod. I don't have my iPod out in here in Fort Benning, so I'm going to be all poopy pants. That's not it. What I'm saying, just get rid of the luxuries and it'll set you up for a lot more success. Other sort of training tips I would recommend that I wish I had known prior to RASP are definitely make friends, right? So I was trying to make friends as well, but I was also honestly trying to be the gray man. I was trying not to be too bad at anything where I stood out, and I was trying to really just not draw attention to myself at all. And for the most part, I succeeded. there was some things I got definitely chewed out for, which isn't fun, but that happens. But yeah, definitely make friends, because over the course of that experience, I had made friends with guys in basic training. We went through airborne school together and Rasp, and now they're still some of my closest friends to this day. We were actually able to all serve together, a lot of us out in Washington. But that group of like 5 or 6 guys was definitely being able to lean on them for support when I was just like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this, right? Which definitely, that thought creeps into your head. Even if you say it doesn't, you'll have like that one moment, I think everyone has it, where they're like, I was gonna drop the F-bomb, but we'll keep it PG. They're like, dude, this is really hard. I just don't know if this is for me. It creeps into everyone's head at least once. So that's when you want, instead of being like, okay, I'm gonna go quit right now, you wanna just lean on your buddy and be like, dude, I just really need you to tell me a joke or tell me something or like lift me up. And everyone gets it, right? We all kind of know what that person's looking for. It's just like a pat on the back. It's a friendly face. And I'm telling you, that is such a huge, but often like under talked about task. Like, don't be an island. Don't try to be the guy who's just doing it. Try to be helpful. Try to help your team, because ultimately when you get through Rasp, you're basically, that's just the invitation for you to start more training. And guess what? You're gonna be doing that as part of a small fire team, as part of a larger squad, right? As part of a platoon, as part of a company. You're never really gonna be doing much of anything on your own, at least not in the beginning of your career. So don't go into it thinking you're gonna get through by yourself. Make friends, be helpful, and just don't be a dick to people. And because eventually you're gonna have that one moment, and it might only be for 3 seconds, but I promise you, everyone has it, whether they say that or not, that they're just like in doubt, and they have that moment of like, I'm not really sure what my next move is. That's when you really need your buddies. So I think that's about all the tips that I would have right now. Like I said, I tried to put those into the book, and it's really just a training guide to help direct your thoughts and answer the questions. Basically, I wrote the book with just the questions that I had prior to joining the military, right, and going to Rasp. So that's really how it came to be. It also, has the workout element in, which I, hopefully that'll help you be a little bit better prepared, have a little more direction on what you should be doing and maybe you shouldn't be doing. But yeah, really there's a lot that's probably unanswered in that book too. And if you have questions that I didn't answer or you'd like more elaboration on, shoot me an email, shoot Coach Brad an email. That's what we're here for. We're basically trying to create a better caliber of candidate showing up at these courses, because ultimately the USA has the greatest fighting force in the world. So if we can help people show up in better shape, it gives the selection more of a chance to weed out the people they don't need there, but have stronger candidates at the end, which ultimately makes our military stronger, right? Which I think is definitely important. So if you're thinking about going out to Rasp, Ranger Assessment Selection Program, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to answer any and all your questions. Seriously, there's no stupid questions. And believe me, the guys I was talking to when I first started this journey were probably like, dude, you've asked me 1,000 questions, just go do it already, And so I'm gonna be here to answer questions for you guys as you go through this, start this journey and start to get in and do it. But really, just at the end of the day, I'm really not a good athlete at all. So just want that to be kind of hopeful for you. If you are a stud athlete, you probably have a leg up. But I made it through, and it was just mostly from learning from Coach Brad and kind of just trying to get the mind right, and then the rest just fell into place. So happy to answer all your questions. Drop them in the comments, shoot us an email, and let's get the conversation started. Thank you so much. Hope this video is helpful.